Call to order the Town Council work session, Monday, January 22nd, 2024 at 4 p.m. Council Chambers, 150 East Monroe Street. We have one item on the agenda which council will have to approve, and that item is the presentation of Virginia Tech students regarding their recent project with Downtown Wytheville Incorporated. So I need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Roll call.
Roll call. Need a roll call vote. We'll start with Candace.
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Gilman, aye.
Thank you.
All right, we are now in open session. And before council moves out into the audience, we just want to thank Virginia Tech and the students for choosing Wytheville for the project to present to town council this evening. I think, and there's going to be a question and answer session possibly at the end for council to do that. So council will now move out, and we can see.
Okay, so I'll kind of introduce everything. Thank you all so much for having us and Virginia Tech speak to you today. As you can see, there's a lot to go around here. There's a lot of really interesting designs. And each of these students is going to kind of explain to you how they arrived at the designs they've got. These are iterative processes. So we've seen these designs change over the last 4 or 5 months from different input from different stakeholders around the community. So we are bringing them to you at this point. This is at the end of their long process, and they're kind of turning them over to downtown now. We have a downtown investment grant to implement one of these designs or some version of a combination of the best aspects of these designs. So we're bringing them to you all to get kind of, the best feedback we can possibly get. So each person will come up here, they'll give you, 3-4 minute spiel, and then it's up to you. You can give any comments or questions you want. So thank you again, and I'll turn it over to the Virginia Tech program.
I'm Terry Clements. I'm the chair of the landscape architecture program. So these are landscape architecture programs in their third year of the 5-year undergraduate program in landscape architecture. And I'm going to present from here. So Charlotte's going to go first. And then after each one is done, they'll move on to the next. But they're just going to give you the 2 or 3 major highlights of what their proposal is, a few ideas on why that is and how it works. And then we'll move to the next one.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. My proposal, I named my proposal for the Park Bird Garden. When looking at the site, I decided to look into birds. So I basically looked at the population of birds that are spotted around Wytheville, especially around the park. Key takeaways, I found that birds that are primarily invasive, like starlings, they are much more populated than, say, songbirds. So I looked into house finches. I researched a lot about house finches and a habitat for them. So that brings me to my goals and objectives, which creating a welcoming space for local locals, family activities and teams. And I'm trying to unite downtown Wytheville and nature. And creating a habitat for songbirds to thrive and making a space to interact, observe, learn, and appreciate technology. So I have 4 main spaces in Pocket Park. We have a downtown nook where it's transitioned from the downtown area where you're walking on the sidewalk, where people get a fast access to seating and chairs. And then we have more movable seating and chair access right here. And then number 3 is where the bird garden is. People can do bird watching. There are binoculars on site. And there's also educational aspects like spot the bird signage. There's educational facts about songbirds that you can spot hopefully at the bird garden. And also there's tree stumps where people can possibly create programming like arts and crafts, make bird feeders and whatnot. And then I also have another space. This is kind of like the gathering point where there's a transition from where the parking lot area is into from where there's just more space for movable seating and chairs for like eating, working, chatting with people, hanging out with friends and family. For plant palette, it's served to give songbirds eating or like seeds and something that their dietary needs, and also habitat needs. So yeah, we have like wildflowers, weeds, grasses, shrubs. Yeah, it's to serve birds and people together, uniting downtown Wytheville nature.
Okay. Hi, my name's Jerry. So for my project, it's called Unearth Wytheville. Basically, I was inspired by, firstly, when I visited the site, seeing like the stuff of the colonies, and I was kind of inspired to maybe look into more of the geology of Wytheville. And it's heavily rooted in site analysis at a regional scale. And I found that in Wytheville, in our site, there's like a specific type of rock. It's the Nakachi Formation, and basically it's a really really old rock, and there's some really cool like aspects to it that I wanted to highlight, and specifically how it forms over time, so that you can have like uh, just basically another part of it show with those history. Maybe that's not immediately like. So basically, I wanted to bring you through the process of how the rocks form. So firstly, there's basically 3 different areas of Pocket Park where it's sort of like mounds, kind of imitating the mountains where the water kind of erodes the sediments, brings it downstream. And then along this, I'm proposing a water feature where you turn on and off the water. And like, I know there's to it. So then, as you get downstream, you are placed into the beach area where I am proposing stromatolite feature area, which is the rock that is formed, where it forms the base of the rock, and then also a beach area where there's a long bench that has a park to it, so that we can kind of use this area as a central meeting point, and then having like different areas where you can sit or look around the park. And then finally, it's the stratum where you have walls of rock, and you can see the different applications of rock. And yeah, so that really.
Okay, hi, my name's Lily, and my park is called Urban Slide because of the formation of my home park. I wanted to create different rooms you could like shoot into on the side of this pathway, so you go to many different areas. And my main focus was to create different areas of like different gatherings of people. So at the top, we can off of Main Street. There's all this communal seating. It's more of like you sit alone, you sit so the people, it's more of like a spectator area or a type of meeting ground. And as you go down, there's a huge canopy tree with a nice, like gentle slope for, say, kids to like play underneath the tree or like rolling down hills. Kind of thing for like a more playful activity. While like these spectating areas, like you're as a parent, like you're watching. And also it's all this seating is very adjustable, so you're able to like move it all and like have some sort of like performance area because like, I get very flat up there. And past all that, I have more circular tables with like a lot of seating. It's more for group entertainment, like coming at a party, with a smaller tree, like ladies like so you have some sort of shade. And and down farther are these long tables where it's more communal seating where next to some strangers, I kind of just down. So that's why my main focus was like with the much seating and like so it's like kind of often in very different environments like within the whole area. And then through my whole park I played with like a bunch of vegetation, like shrubs, like um big oaks for my trees, and I just wanted to make the pathways kind of more natural and go down. Um, so yeah.
Right, hi, my name's Jackson, and title of my park is Urban Backyard. So when looking at this project, I really want to look at key demographics around the area, more like population density, where things are, where businesses are located. And after some research and talking with some town council, I was able to find out pretty surprising fact, around like 70% of population is located within a half mile of the downtown area, which is pretty good in terms of walking distance to check out those businesses and nightlife and so on. So seeing that, I saw this park as more a kind of a way through and connect the rest of downtown to these surrounding communities. But going along that by itself is not really it. I feel like while it also can be a transitional space, it can also be a space of its own, meaning like look at some programming sometime. So this is more studies basically on the program kind of what I expect people to do in a space like of this kind of place, mainly times and different activities. And that give me a good idea of what people want to do in a very confined space like this. So going through it, going back to the title, why it's called Urban Backyard. I wanted to include a space for people to have basically have a nice place outside. And with the apartment buildings moving on each side, I figure people need a backyard there too. So kind of making it a kind of public area for people to play games or relax, kind of like what you'd expect to do in the backyard. That was kind of my priority. So going into it from Main Street up here, with the restaurant moving into the current Paperclip building, I want to include some outdoor seating, make it a nice metal structure with very very disposable as well. Include things like tables, chairs, for general restaurant, or if you just want to relax as well and shade. Also, a more open area to the downtown, kind of make the entrance a little more open so people can access it easier and find it easier as well. And along with that, going down this pathway, I have sneaking down here. And for the most part, until you get to the lawn part, obviously green right there, I wanted to kind of exterior his views, make visitors especially kind of see something special out of it, make them a little more curious. So as you go down, eventually see redwood trees and tall grasses until you get to the final product, the little yard right there. And the same goes to the back. You're entering from, I think, Church Street. You come back here and go through this tall grass corridor. Enter your main, I guess, goal is the little patch grass over here. And I want to make it eventful, make it fun for people to visit. So doing yard games like cornhole. If you ever heard of the hook and ring game at all, later if you want. But also a ping pong table on some separate corner of that over here to basically get people to come by and just have a good time, along with parking for those apartments. There's 88 included and space for bonuses as well. And with that, I feel like this is probably one of the best ways to utilize a small space like this. Of course, there's not much to work with, but I feel having a nice spot to basically do almost anything you want, really, while also being entertaining for multiple age groups. Is the best way to take it.
Hi, everyone. So my project is titled The Depth of Wytheville. So the main concept behind this design is trying to use what I visualize in the natural landscape of Wytheville and kind of turn that into the way that the vegetation is structured. So first off, the way that I've seen the natural landscape that exists here is in these interesting layers. You can see through color changes in different species of you get this really interesting layering effect, and you get this interesting depth. So I tried to bring that into the park through my planting strategy, using varying heights, obviously very short, more like waist. And so that invites users from both this side and this side in the same exact way, where there's this interesting scaling up into the center of the park. So it kind of invites you to go explore into the center and use those spaces. So defining what the spaces do, this one obviously connected to Main Street, allows people for quick sitting and eating access, along with the restaurant that's going to be there. Then you get the central space where people can do work and things like that, using all these seating and tables. And then there's a stage for like little small performances that can happen, and your viewers can sit here and watch that. And then there are just little opportunities for seating within the vegetation, kind of connect you into that natural environment feeling. And then finally, one interesting little part of the design is using a wall mural that again it has these layering effects that connects with the actual natural backdrop of that mountain that is within the site. So kind of paying homage to that, and letting users kind of understand what's happening within the park. Yeah, that's my design.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Scholl, and this is my park, The Growth of Wytheville. I've kind of given it the slogan, where we grow together. So my big idea with this park is to really connect it to where it is, create a sense of place. So that being many things, that's in Wytheville, it's off Main Street, it's also in Southwest Virginia. So kind of how I went about that is kind of with my growing pattern. So I really wanted to incorporate native plants. I didn't really want to do anything that wasn't meant to be there. So kind of going through my spaces, I've decided to divide it up into about 5 key spaces. So kind of this first entrance area is kind of a transition from Main Street into the park, and it's a place where you can
sit while you're waiting for friends to come or if you're waiting for a reservation, things like that. And I've also kind of added this space, I've called it like kind of like an office, that has a bunch of tables and also some seating that you can kind of sit on and kind of encapsulate yourself in the nature and in the kind of plants of it. And then I've kind of had like a meandering path, and then the centerpiece is where kind of where I imagine most of the activities happen. So I kind of also envision some sort of ground mural to bring some more color into it. And I've kind of left that space intentionally blank to give the people an idea of what they want. As of right now, I've kind of just kept the movable furniture there. And kind of what I envision there is one of my programs is a beer garden connecting to some of the breweries in Wytheville. And then I also kind of imagine like a kind of a beer garden trail also connecting to Elizabeth Brown. So I imagine like some vendors here from Wytheville and Southwest Virginia. And then I also finally have this little lawn space. One of my other programming is some sort of movie night. So this wall, you can easily put a screen and a projector through the window of one of those. I've done the math and it works. So people can sit on the lawn if they want, or if people would like to have like lawn chairs, you can also see from kind of the flat space there. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name's Anthony, and my project is titled Secret Sanctuaries. So when we first visited Wytheville, one of the main things I noticed was that there was hardly any seating along Main Street, and if there was, it was mainly metal chairs, which one because it's not very comfortable, but also really very hot in the sun. So that was one of my main goals, was to provide a place of comfortable rest and central point for all people walking down the hill. And another thing that I based my design around, the main things was how we're going to have two apartment buildings that are adjacent sides of this park, and I wanted that to serve as an amenity for people who are living there, so residents can have essentially their backyard next to them. And so I designed my park based off of two main sanctuary spaces. The one closest to Main Street up here has a turf in the center, which is lawn games, really long classes, as well as sitting in the back, provide space, as well as watching the film here. During the day, it serves as a seating with their seating pond, like seating pond. Should be a pond that doesn't need to be taken down and it transforms into chairs. And second sanctuary here, that is more of a separated or secluded space, kind of working, having individuals express. So right here with this during the day, I want the space to be used. Fire pit there with a chessboard game up and back of the sword by game was. And that was another thing I wanted to focus on is how do I activate this place at night? Because most parks don't get used at night as much. So one of the things I added were lighting up foliage by lighting through, as well as that fire. Another thing it activates the space during winter when most people don't want to be outside. And how I sort of secluded the space was vegetation. And I won't go through everything I chose, but it was a very easy place to get everything exactly how I wanted. But the main things I chose were the seasonality aspect, So all these plants are evergreen. That's being listed here. And the max height for all my shrubs are at 5 feet, so maintaining to ensure that there is line of sight.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hallie Reinhold, and this is my project, Stretching the Seasons. It's an exploration of seasonality in herbaceous gardens. The main goals of my design were to create a garden with unique colors and textures throughout the year without the use of evergreens, as well as replicate the experience of a meadow within the urban setting of downtown. Now, I say recreate the experience of a meadow because in my research for this project, I was really inspired by meadow landscapes. However, most naturally occurring meadows only form in the Midwest and West Coast region. We do have them temporarily on the East Coast, but those are successional meadows that eventually become forests. So I wanted to challenge myself to create the experience of a meadow landscape with plants native to Wytheville that really celebrate those different native plants with different colors and textures, as well as create a more seasonality aspect of it. Meadows aren't very seasonal, but having a meadow that also has a seasonality aspect that also has celebration of natural plants was really important for me. So with that comes my proposal for the puppy park. The main sections are 2 smaller seating areas, as well as a larger seating area in the center for more large group gathering spaces. All of the plantings throughout are herbaceous except for one shrub, and each one was very tediously chosen for its different colors or textures, and they all change throughout the year. So there's always going to be some sort of interest, whether it's color, texture, anything. There's always going to be something different depending on the time of year. And these seating areas really are a way for you to actually be immersed in this landscape a little bit more. Because I didn't want it just to be a place that you walk through. It's something that you experience and something that you actually can be a part of in a way. And I wanted it to be a little bit more unique compared to your other parks because in my analysis, so far all of your parks are more walking spaces, but they don't have a lot of gardens, which is what I noticed. And I really wanted to challenge myself to create a unique experience to Wytheville with a garden setting. Thank you so much for all your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing your feedback.
Hello, everybody. My name is Denisha Mencia, and this is my project, Blending Settings. So when I first visited Wytheville, I noticed that it was going to be very important to design something that fits in the larger scheme of downtown Wytheville and to make sure it's a coherent site design, which kind of brought me to my concept of blending settings. So what I try to do with this pocket park is try to blend the 2 distinctive settings of Wytheville, which being the historic downtown and the naturalistic landscapes of Wytheville. So kind of starting off up here, I kind of have this extension of the downtown brick path that kind of leads into the park, creates like a seating area for people that just want to stop by real quick. This area is surrounded by vegetation on both sides, and then on the wall right here, there's a mural that could kind of attract people driving down Main Street. And then moving on to this next area, which is right here, I wanted to keep this kind of just rather open so we can have a lot of gathering space and gathering areas for people. This area consists of just like a couple of seating walls that are orientated to this wall right here, which is like a multi-use performance space area. And then further down below, I have this last area that kind of serves as more secluded seating area for anybody that wants to get away from maybe like the loud street noise. Wants a different street. So, and then sorry, I forgot to mention, and then right here where the multi-use performance space is on this wall, I proposed like a living wall, and just add character to the area and to kind of go back to the blending settings. This part. And then, so yeah, so trying to kind of create like 3 different main areas that kind of have each all different experience and different feeling to it. So you have multiple experience.
Hi, everybody. My name is Daniela Cardoso, and I named my park Community Park. I named it that because every decision that I kind of made towards the design of the park was thinking about the community and how they could use specific space within the park. So my goals were to develop a multi-purpose gathering area, set up a space for remote working, and create a nice area for people to gather, eat, drink, and read. I kind of got to these goals due to the stores and the restaurants and cafes that were nearby and within a small walking distance. So when you first kind of get into the park, there's a main entrance, and I created extra seating and an easy step entrance down to the plaza, and it doubles the seating for the possible cafe or restaurant that can go in this building right here. And in the plaza, it's a versatile space. You can eat, drink, seat, and watch performances. I have a covered stage with ADA access, and all of the seating within it is movable, so you can remove it to create a big open space, or you can add more seating depending on whatever event you have going on. And then I also have a small lawn space to kind of break up that part space within it. And these are sort of open. There's grass that gets through it, so it's not completely concrete or whatever material you choose to put on it. And then coming down, you have kind of like this intermediate section that I call love. I propose to put a love statue there to create a sort of photo op experience. And it also would have a living wall behind it, which I have proposed what it could possibly look like. And then in here, I call that area the plains. It's sort of a just grassy area. Kids can play in it. If the parents and kids can have a picnic or just family gatherings. And then I created this section right here, this third main section, which I call the lounge. It has some permanent seating that cannot be moved, but it also has seating and tables that can be removed in case of you need the space for an event. And some of my proposed programmings were like to have movie nights over here. Just it would have like sort of these hooks that you can hang like a sheet to project the movie onto. And you would have plenty of seating in this section right here for people to sit down and just enjoy it. Some yoga classes, birthday parties, concerts, art exhibitions for middle, high schools, elementary schools. And I was also proposing to have like hidden speakers throughout the park. So you could, I noticed that Main Street has hidden speakers throughout it. So pull that music into the park. And if you do have concerts, that would be something you wouldn't have to worry about. You could just hook things onto those speakers and it's throughout the whole park. And then also these sunshades that you could hook onto multiple spots in the plaza, create extra shading during more sunny times during the summer.
Hello, my name is Niall Hamilton. I named my park Evo Park. One reason was because we've been hearing a lot how you want to try to bring younger people in and you want to create that sense of community, but start it at a younger age instead of just having these older generation away. So while we walked around when we first got here, we went to many different sites around Wytheville, and using those, I kind of came up with how I wanted to organize the park using these large, almost areas you have within Wytheville, where you have this main street, this very long rectilinear street, which everyone loves and comes here all the time. Then also the farmers market, where everyone comes from Wytheville, but also from out of town and out of county to come. And then finally, the community of Elizabeth Brown Park with your festival every summer and with the other great festival you guys have here. And so how I ended up incorporating that into my design was I have this long kind of meandering path that you can walk through the site with these benches that kind of sit within these larger kind of meadows of these taller bushy grasses, almost like the shops in downtown Wytheville. But I also created this middle area here, which I'm calling kind of like the heart, like the convergence where the farmer's market is, with trees where it's so shaded and it's all turf grass. So you can sit there, you can have a talk with your friends, you can walk your dog and make it the meeting point where you give them water. But then also this bottom part here with what I'm calling kind of like the Elizabeth Brown Park area where it's more of a festival site. So you can have chairs that are movable, but you also have this kind of the staged seating area where you can have a festival or you can have the kindergartners come and have a book reading or some kind of communal event like that, but also have it so that if you wanted to just park your car here and sit and have a nice meal and then quickly run back to your office, you have that opportunity as well for easy access. Also have seating up here for the restaurant as well as if you come and people watch, hope you run into someone you know. Also just kind of so like the grass would look like this where it's not terribly tall, but it also bushes and it kind of flows onto the path intentionally. So you have this kind of feeling like you're within this community or within this area. Thank you very much.
Right. So that's the last of the designs. As you all saw, there's a lot of different directions people took this on. As many of them have mentioned, this is the space between the old Baldwin's building. Both Rush and Kay Jackson are the ones who kind of initiated this project with access to the space and allowing us to apply for a grant and then also provide a private donation match to help with that as well. So we're kind of deciding from here. As they've mentioned, they're developing apartments above both of those buildings. So this would access that space. And as you know, Baldwin's building is currently empty. Restaurants or shop tip. Also, so if you have any questions or comments about these designs that you want to person out, you can, or if you want to think about it, send us some later that you want to pass along. Make sure that you have access to these designs.
Awesome. Great job. They're awesome.
So I saw a lot of the same theme of the meandering path, and I was just wondering if anybody did the analysis of with that being ADA, if the slope would lend itself to an ADA path all the way through the site.
Yes, that was one of our requirements while we were designing this, that everything had to be universally designed. So after it, part of hearing or sight or kind of word trouble that this is a fully accessible park for you and your family. But yeah, so I mean, I designed this so that this is this first part here is a 3% slope, and this second part here is a 2.5. So this rest of the bottom part is 2%. All very accessible and 10%. Couple months.
It's been a back and forth process. You should see how far some of these designs have come. Not like some of the early pitches some of these early pitches that some of the board members have seen totally got scrapped. You went back to the drawing boards. So you've seen a lot of changes and a lot of feedback.
Great job.
Final questions or anything else?
You coming back to show us what you want?
Absolutely. You'll be seeing every step of this until you can go walk around the track.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
While y'all have a little chat and clean up, we are going to go ahead and officially adjourn this meeting because we need to get started for the next meeting. So this meeting is now order. The Wytheville Town Council meeting, Monday, January 22nd, 2024 at 5:11 p.m. We do have the Wytheville Town Council